said, "I'll shoot you," or "I'm going to shoot," and in the same moment, the first shot went off.
And joining me now is the attorney for that witness, Freeman Bosley, is with us. Welcome to the program. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, sir. Why don't we start with your client, and let's start at the beginning. There seems to be two parts of this. One is what happened at the car, in the car, struggle in the car, and the second is after Michael Brown left the car area. Well, let's start at the first part. What does your witness say happened in and around the police car?
Well, it's my understanding that they were walking down the middle of the street. Officer tells them to get out of the street. They keep walking. He backs up the car and brings it extremely close to them. He then tells them they have an exchange. He attempts to get out of the car, but he's so close to him, he can't get out. They then have a few words with him. He reaches out of the window with his left hand and grabs Big Mike by the throat. Big Mike is so big that it doesn't faze him so much as it astounds him, and he attempts to get away from it. The officer then grabs a hold of Big Mike's shirt, pulls his shirt, and tries to handle Mike through the car, and he cannot. Mike is too big, so Mike is saying, "Man, let me go," and he doesn't let him go. Then he says, "I'm going to shoot you." And the next time he gets ready to say something, he just pow, and he's shot. He's shot at the car, not inside the vehicle. The officer lets Big Mike go. Big Mike and my client, they break off and they start running. There are 3 automobiles stacked up one behind the other, because the police officer's car is in the street. My client gets behind the first car, and then he sees Big Mike run by, and then the officer is in close behind. My client looks up, he sees the officer fire another shot. This one hits Mike in the back. Big Mike then throws his hands up in there, turns around, and they have some type of conversation, and he shoots as the officer closes the gap between he and Big Mike, he continues to fire and shoots about 7 times, and one of them is in the head.
Let me ask you this one question. The only contradiction that you gave here to what the police chief said is that he said that the first shot was fired from inside the car. You're disputing that?
Yeah, and the chief wasn't there.
No, the chief wasn't there, but ballistics.
He's only going on what somebody told him.
I understand, but yeah. Ballistics would certainly show that. You're an attorney, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The only question is that what I'm trying to understand is you're describing a situation where the only thing that these kids did was walk in the middle of the street. When the cop said to move out of the street, they didn't move right away, and he got mad, and that resulted in this. That's what this all comes down to. What I'm trying to understand is you're describing a situation where the only thing that these kids did was walk in the middle of the street. When the cop said to move out of the street, they didn't move right away, and he got mad, and that resulted in this. That's what this all comes down to.
In many respects, that happens often in St. Louis. These young men are taken out of their cars, they're put in handcuffs, and they're set on the side of the road, and most of the time they haven't done anything.
So, you contend that this police officer basically assassinated, that your client will testify that this police officer pretty much assassinated this young man, Michael Brown, in cold blood? That's going to be the testimony of your client, correct?
No, sir. My client uses the word murder.
Okay, murder. So it's, I guess, technical, legal term. But what did you think of the eyewitness Tiffany Mitchell and what we just played coming in? Do you think that in any way corroborates or contradicts what your client is saying?
Well, people see different things, but I think there's a thread that runs through it that basically corroborates what it is that my client said.
All right, sir. Thank you. And it's a sad story anyway around. Thank you for being with us and telling your client's side of the story. Appreciate it. My next guest is a St. Louis resident, says that we don't yet know all the facts about what happened and that the people are jumping to conclusions.